I'm going to post 4 worksheets for you to do today, all to do with slope and graphing the slopes of lines. And then I'm going to do one example of each of these to get you started. So identify the slope as positive, negative, 0, or undefined. A positive slope is a line going from left to right where it increases, so going uphill. A negative slope is going downhill, left to right. That's supposed to be a straight line. That didn't work out that straight. Not fixing it. Then a 0 slope is straight horizontal, straight across, where it doesn't go up or down. And then an undefined slope is straight up and down a vertical line. Okay, so you're going to identify as positive, negative, 0, or undefined for each graph. So the first one is positive. The next one is obviously negative because it's going downhill. And then I'm going to leave you to do 3, 4, 5, 6. Honestly, on this first paper, you might as well do 7, 8, 9. You might as well do all the questions on the first sheet because it's super easy and quick. On the second handout, it's called Finding the Slope, and it says calculate the rise and run to find the slope of each line. So it's got 2 points already highlighted for you. What you have to do is count the rise and the run. So the rise is always how many blocks it is up from this point to this point. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 up. So I'm going to put a 4 and then I put over, and the run is 2 because I'm going to go 1, 2 blocks over. So it's 4 over 2, which obviously then reduces. You're always supposed to reduce your slope if you can. So it either like stays as a fraction once you reduce it, or this one goes to a whole number. 2 over 1 is the exact same thing as 2, so I'm just going to put 2. So that's my slope. And then is it positive or negative? You have to kind of think about that afterwards. I look at the question after and I say, okay, it's going uphill. So if you want, you can even refer back to this paper. Is it positive or negative? Is it positive or negative? It goes uphill and it goes downhill. I was just looking ahead to see these ones. They all have slopes. They're not going to throw a 0 slope or an undefined at you on this handout. So this is a positive slope, this is a negative, this is a positive. So just make sure your sign is correct when you give your slope answer. The next one is obviously a negative slope, and then you just count how many times you drop and how many times you run. So it is called rise over run, but I sometimes say drop over run. It's always run right though. I should write this for you. You always run to the right. You might drop and you might run, but you might drop or rise, but you always run to the right. So this next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You dropped 5. So that's your rise, technically your drop. And then how many times did you run? 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 5 over 4. And can I reduce that? No, nothing goes into 5 and 4. So you leave it, and it's a negative because it's going downhill. And I could refer back to the sheet for that if I wanted to. Okay, third handout. Draw a line through the point for each given slope. So they have a point plotted already, and you just have to go off of that point and do the slope according to what the numbers are that you're given. So 2 over 5. So 2 is the rise. Oh, I have to turn my editing on. Okay, so 2 is the rise. I'm just going to write rise with very messy writing and no dotted I. And then my run is 5. So I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2. I would put a dot there, but that's not proper. I haven't ran yet. So I'm just going to hold my cursor there. I rise 2 and I run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Approximately there. Approximately there. But the other way of doing this is when you run out of graph space, you actually undo this and you do it backwards. So from this point, I would go drop 2, because normally I would rise 2 and run right, but I ran out of grid. So I'm going to drop 2 and run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put a dot right there. And guess what? That's still in the same line. Now, if I could insert, I don't know how, shape, line? Nope, not allowed. Okay, well, I was going to insert like a perfect line, but instead I'll just freehand this bad boy. There we go. Okay, not bad. So that's you graphing the line following the slope. Next one, -4/7. So you are supposed to drop, because it's a negative. So you have a negative slope. So you drop 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you run 7. 1, 2, 3, right there. And then you join them together and with the straightest line that you can, and that is you graphing the line following the slope from a given point. Okay, so you guys can do the rest of those ones. They're not super hard, but if you are over it by 6 questions, that's fine. You don't have to do all 9. You can just do 6. The first 6, and I already did 2. Okay, the last sheet. Which of the following graph represents the equation? So now you're matching a slope-intercept form of the equation, which is this. So this form right here, oh, that was bad. Okay, this form right here is all the Khan Academy videos that I posted yesterday that show you y equals mx plus b. So the b part is the -3. The -3 part is your b, which means it's your y-intercept. It means it's where it crosses the y-axis. Your 5 is your m. So your m is what we define as the slope. So it's y equals mx plus b. But sometimes it's not a plus b, it's a minus b, because in this case it's a -3. So 5 is my slope, -3 is my y-intercept. Guess what I'm going to do to check here first? A, B, C, or D matches one of these. Well, if it's not going through at -3, I can knock that off my list. So it is not that one, and it is not that one. It can't be, because they're not going through at -3. That's the first thing I check for. This one is, and this one also is. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to check for a positive slope, because the number 5 is my slope. Is it positive? Yep. Is this slope positive? Yes. Is this slope positive? Yes. Okay, that doesn't help me narrow it down any. Now I have to actually count up by points and see if it's 5. Also, when they do not put a denominator on the slope, it means it's 5/1. Nobody ever puts the over 1. It's unnecessary. Just like you don't put x to the power of 1. So I'm only supposed to have a run of 1. So let's check which graph matches 5 up and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. It's this one. So if I wasn't sure, I could go look at the other one. Does this go up 5? 1, 2, no, it doesn't. This one did it the opposite way. It went up 1 and ran 5, which is not right because it's rise over run. Hopefully that helps you with these 4 handouts that I'm going to post here as soon as YouTube lets me. And I will probably post the answer key tomorrow.